Shaggy.
Who the f*** are you? You nothing. You nothing. You are nothing. And you will never be anything. Never.
Colin.
Anybody know who you are? You miserable, presumptuous, no talent. You obviously don't have the talent.
And Mike, the Ape Man.
You are everything that's gone wrong in this world. You are self-consumed, no talent, mediocre piece of shit.
PTR Radio.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to PTR Radio here on the fabulous interweb. We're back. We're back.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Finally, we've been lost.
Yes. It has been. Seems like it's been forever. Probably because it has. Realistically, I mean, it's been just a long time, and we're very happy to be back on the air. Mike, everything coming through okay?
It seems that way.
Okay, good. All right.
It has been so long that the movie review we're going to be doing later in the show may be completely worthless to you because none of them are probably still available anymore anyway.
Oh, no, one of them was a Netflix original, so it's still available.
Okay.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be a real pain in the ass if Netflix took their own stuff off their platform? You know? Hey, we paid to make this movie,
that
but
would
it's
be evil.
It's so bad, even we're not going to show it. You know?
You now you have to get Netflix Plus.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that would suck.
Just another thing for them to frickin' sell us.
It would be. And it break my heart. You know, and one more streaming package is all that I need. You know, I got too much crap already. I was looking. I've been trying to figure out how to, cut costs. Because like everybody, we're very conscious about how much we're spending every month. And but my wife also is not a huge fan of Faba. I don't know how the hell they say it, but she's not a huge fan of it.
Fubo.
Yeah. So she the thing she misses is just being able to punch in a channel number and go there.
Huh.
It's sometimes some things are hard to change, and I understand it. I get it.
My father-in-law was talking about hooking his Fire Stick or getting a Fire Stick and hooking that back up. He's like, "Well, I have Prime." I'm like, "Okay, where did that come from?" Because that used to be our Christmas gift to you every year, and you told me you didn't want it anymore. But okay.
Was he like, I don't want to support that bastard going into space? Is that what he said?
No, actually.
Did he sign the change.org petition so that he couldn't come back into Earth's atmosphere?
No, but I do believe he refused to get Netflix because they signed a deal with Barack Obama. But I digress on this because the point of the story is he didn't realize that he could stream. Now, how good he's going to be able to stream, considering he's got like 2 meg DSL, but he could stream stuff off of the Fire Stick for free, not have to pay for anything.
Yeah.
And I said, well, yeah, because he is in a region that even with DirecTV satellite, he doesn't get local channels because DirecTV does not have a local affiliate agreement there.
They said you don't exist. Sorry, there's no such thing as local for you. You're in the nether region.
Apparently, Bangor, Maine is controlled by like one person, and he's like, nope, I don't like them.
So what they're saying is it's the taint of the county? Is that right? It's in between everything that's important?
No, as far as I'm concerned, it is everything important, and the decision makers are jealous.
Okay.
So I was waiting to get that phone call about how do I install stuff on my Fire Stick, and oh god. Luckily, I didn't. I think he figured it out. He is quite savvy, I must say.
All right. So
as to which ones, I was going to tell him basically, everything free. I think like what was it, Pluto TV is a free one that can do some.
Yep. I mean, Roku
That has
themselves.
some
Well,
free-
Roku Channel I think is available on the Fire Stick.
I
I think so,
you know,
yeah.
I think you're right.
There's some fighting going on about that, so I'm not sure that's staying or not.
Well, I know that like the YouTube TV app was getting yanked yet again from Roku. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's,
I have Fire everything, so that has not been a problem. But because YouTube TV is what I use.
Colin is on fire. But yeah, sorry, very punchy today. Very punchy today. While we were gone, I had a nice little break. And that's one of the reasons why we were gone so long is because I had a nice little 2-week vacation, where I had an opportunity to have dinner with Mike and Mrs. 8-Man yet again.
Yep.
It was a short visit to New Jersey, but as it turns out, that was good because Mike was broken. So
I was so broken.
he almost had an out of order sign wrapped around his neck. That's how broken
I
he
was fine until I got up out of the chair. When I got up out of the chair, my back said, "No, remember, we're broken."
But we had a great meal, and the significant others just talked about animals most of the night and how they both agree that I should allow my wife to get goats and your wife wants chickens. So, and we both think that those are horrible ideas. So, we're, it's a good thing there weren't any kids there or we'd have been outnumbered. So, but yeah, it was just, it was a good one. I went, the whole purpose of my vacation was I finally talked my wife into taking 2 weeks of vacation. Okay, so at least 10 days. All right. The idea is that the first half is with family and the second half is not. Because she always wanted to go visit family on vacation, which is fine, but then you don't get any quality time to do things that you want to do.
Yeah, and you feel pressured to always do stuff with the family.
Yeah. Or a lot of times, and she's perfectly right, she's happy just sitting there doing nothing or cooking dinner or whatever. And I'm like, I kind of want to do something. But sometimes where family lives, there ain't nothing to do, like Bangor, Maine. You can sit there and twiddle your thumbs and compete against the person next to you twiddling their thumbs and see who comes in first and second.
Well, just to clarify, there's stuff to do in Bangor. It's when you get an hour and a half north of Bangor,
Okay.
where we were.
All right. So when you're in the suburbs of Bangor, that's when you have problems. So, and so but it's this relationship is all about, everything in a relationship is compromise, right? So I came up with this idea of 2-week vacation, half with family, half without family. So she gets what she wants, I get what I want, and we both end up having a great time. And so this time, the first half with family was a wedding that we attended. Now, people think wedding, oh, that's kind of boring, except for this was my big fat Greek wedding because it was an Italian marrying a Greek. Now, I have some complaints about the wedding, and I have voiced these to the couple, so this is nothing new. All right. One, there was not a large enough wedding party. All right. I did not see a dozen, cousins in poofy dresses. All right. 2, nobody spit on the bride. All right. It was supposed to happen. I was told that was going to happen by the movie. You should really be in line with the movie if that's what you're going to do. 3, no plates were broken. Nothing was no dishware at all was even cracked that I saw. And 4, no opas. I didn't hear a single opa. And 5, the most atrocious one, I was not offered any ouzo at any point during my trip. What good is the movie if it's not going to tell me about the Greek people and how they really act? I mean, it was a
to be seen.
I found it in the documentary section of my local Blockbuster. It should have been representative. You know? Now, those of you younger than 20 don't know, A, what a blockbuster is, or 2, what the documentary section of a blockbuster means.
Okay, they know what a blockbuster is because they've probably all seen Captain Marvel.
It could be. But
Whether
anyway,
they've seen my big fat Greek wedding is another question.
yeah, they haven't. Trust me. So what was funny was the Greek bride hadn't seen My Big Fat Greek Wedding, and so they watched it like a week before the wedding, which was hilarious. But it was a great time. It was, boy, those people can drink though. They're just not stereotypical drinkers. Open top shelf bar, that was great. Love that. And I did learn something that they didn't show in the movie, but they really should have, because when the Greek couple gets married, when they get married, like here in the Midwest, and I don't think it's big out on the East Coast where you are, Mike, but we still have the age-old tradition of the dollar dance to help fund the honeymoon. All right, that's where strangers come up and you're pimped out to, take a spin with them on the dance floor for 30 seconds or so, or a minute. In a Greek ceremony, it's even better because nobody pays to dance with you. No. While the bride and groom are taking their first dance, the rest of everybody circle around them and just toss them dollar bills like they were strippers at a strip club. It is it was great.
Certain cultures around here do the dollar dance. Don't ask me which one, but I have heard of it around here. Maybe it's a Staten Island thing. I don't know. But I do know I have heard of the dollar dance and wondered why we didn't do it. But
it's an uncomfortable thing for some people because you're dancing with kooky Uncle Bob,
Well,
but yeah,
no.
The whole idea of it previously was that was like your honeymoon spending money, and it used to be a lot, bigger. It was like people were giving 5s and 10s, but now people are cheapskates. I told them you should really take like a PayPal here or something. Take credit card, take plastic. Well, you'll make more.
Yeah, this is where the DJ comes in because. Yes, Mrs. 8-Man, we just got a Venmo of $10 from, I can't read this name out loud. Who is Puppy Lover 69?
Yeah, so, yeah. Oh, and did I tell you guys the
$20 from Freckle Boobs is to dance.
Take old Biddy's 76. You pay $20.
Grandpa is banned from Hooters. Paid $25. Okay, yeah, but that could be that. See?
It could be fun. Just the names alone could be a good time. So, but yeah, we had a blast. They knew how to drink. That is for darn sure. But enough about that.
They knew how to drink, but yet you had no
ouzo. No ouzo. No. They were busy drinking wine. Tons and tons and tons of wine. Okay.
Grappa.
You've got a top shelf open bar. Okay? And it's anything you could drink. So what do? No, you smuggle in your own homemade wine. Because one of the cousins runs a vineyard. But they wouldn't let him officially bring in his homemade wine. So you smuggle it in some Greek woman's oversized purse. And you're crouching down by the table, pouring it into glasses for people. But there's a top shelf bar right there that's free. Now, granted,
that's just wrong.
The guy who was filling up all the glasses also was the cousin who ran the pot farm. So, I don't know. This is an
You
interesting
had an
family.
interesting cast of characters there, didn't you?
Yeah. The father of the bride is a semi-retired neurosurgeon. There's a cousin who runs a pot farm, and there's a cousin who runs a winery. And these people came from everywhere. They came from the West Coast. Some came from Greece. And they do this for every wedding.
Well, God bless them. God bless them.
Can you imagine that? Oh, second cousin Susie's getting married. We need to pack up the family and take an international flight.
During COVID.
Yeah, during COVID.
Oh, no way, man. No way.
I believe I have been to one of those Greek weddings.
Meanwhile,
they have more drunk people there than Vegas.
Now this was the bride's side. Meanwhile, the groom's side. Let me tell you about all the family that came from the groom's side. All right, this could take a while. So it was his mother. Now his father gets a pass. He passed away about 10 years ago. So that he doesn't need to be there. His mom was there. All right. I was there. My wife was there. That's it. That's all the family he had there. His brother wasn't there. His sister-in-law wasn't there. My kids, our kids weren't there. His uncle and aunts weren't there. Nobody else
Is this
bothered to
because
show
they
up.
weren't invited, or they?
Oh no, they were all invited.
They didn't approve, or they were just
Didn't give a damn.
well.
Didn't give a damn. One of them
you guys
sent
were,
a card.
Who was it? What was it? You guys were Bob and Harry,
Well,
basically,
my sister-in-law
and the
was-
best friend.
Yeah, so yeah.
Okay.
So it was interesting. It was interesting because then thank God they didn't seat you in the church according to groom or bride, because it would have looked so lopsided.
See, now that's the thing right there. See, like churches, I've been to one wedding when I was younger that was a full Catholic mass. And I have not, unless I was in the wedding, I have not been to a church ceremony since. I am not sitting there in a church on a wooden pew for an hour and 15 minutes while Jesus Christ himself comes down to bless your marriage. No, I don't think so.
Oh, well,
And the Greeks are just the Greek
they're
Orthodox.
It was a Greek Orthodox wedding. It was worse. It was worse than a Catholic wedding. I've been to plenty Catholic weddings. This is the first Greek Orthodox one that I've been to, and I will give it this: at least the priest, because there were two priests there actually. The priest who was actually doing the ceremony, he came out and like gave a warm up and said, "Okay, for those of you who have not been to one of these, here's what we're going to do," and explained everything.
Go and get stoned.
So
It'll make this go a lot easier.
because we stood up for almost the whole ceremony. It was worse than a Catholic wedding. Meanwhile, the mother of the groom has had major foot surgery within the last year and has difficulty standing. And she and my wife, who has had major back pain, were sitting there going, "Oh, son of a bitch, better hurry it up. I gotta sit down." And it was just...
Of course.
But yet at the beginning, you knew it wasn't going to be quick because the priest said, "Well, now everything we do in threes," which I knew what that meant because I'd seen the movie. Yes, they do everything. They do everything 3 times. Everything is done in triplicate. It's like the IRS wrote the handbook for how to get married in the Greek church. All right, because you listen to it. Like he said, "Do you take her to be your wife?" Not those words, but similar words. Once in English, once in Greek, and then again in English. And then he has to ask her the same questions. English, Greek, English. And then they put the little crowns on the heads. And then swap them, and swap them, and swap them, and swap them, and swap. And then they have to walk around the pew 3 times. And it's like, all right, this is almost 3 times longer than a Catholic wedding, and I can see why. So, it was just nuts. If that's your faith, I'm not bashing your faith by any means. I'm just an outsider looking in, and you can look at us, Christians, Catholics, etc., and go, what the hell, guys? Easter? What does a rabbit pooping out a chocolate egg have to do anything with the guy up on the cross? I get it. I understand. It don't make no damn sense. A fat guy plunging his ass down the chimney ain't got nothing to do with Jesus either. All right? We're screwed up. All of us are. But, all right. So that was a lot of my vacation. Was then also going through upstate New York after we stayed with you, upstate New York. And I do want to tell this story because I went to my favorite cidery, Three Brothers Winery, Cidery in Seneca, New York, upstate New York. And I became a very important person very quickly there. Now, I didn't plan on it happening, and I didn't walk in and go, don't you know who I am, by any means, okay? But I did my little tasting of beer that I hated because I knew, but I was buying it for other people. And because the deal is they can ship cider and wine to Illinois, but they can't ship beer. So I'm like, okay, any beer I buy for anybody, I've got to bootleg home. That's what it's got to be. Cider, I knew I wanted a bunch, and I was planning on bringing it home until we found out we didn't have near as much room in the vehicle as we thought because there were 5 cases of wine already in there. So suddenly I didn't have as much room for my cider, so I said, okay, well, this I can have shipped home, not a problem. So I walk up to the counter with my little sheet that I have divided into this I need to take home with me now, this I need shipped. And so I go up to her because there's no carts, there's no nothing in this place. Usually people just pick up like a 4-pack or maybe a couple at the most up to the counter. Ooh, yeah, $30, no problem. All right, so I walk up there and I say, okay, listen, I have a fairly large order, so I don't know how you want to handle this. I'm like, I need this portion of it today, and then I need the bottom portion here shipped to me. And she goes, okay, no problem. I'm like, then I give the paper to her, and she goes, oh, that is a large order. Yep, you're right, it is. Because I brought home 3 cases worth of beer. All right. And then I had shipped, there's 5 boxes in my living room with 36 cans apiece. So, 18 4-packs of one and like 6 of another and a couple of another one. And so she rings up my total and she goes, okay, well, that's $560 for today. Okay, here you go. Here's a plastic. It's already on fire from the other winery, so why not just get it a little bit warmer? And she goes, oh yeah, and you get, because you ordered this many, you get this much off, and you get this one free. Do you want to add some more on? So, of course, I added a few more on, because what the hell? And then
what's she saying? Do you want to add some more on, or do you want to add some more on?
So, I don't know. I was drunk with power at that point, but just ordering. So she goes, okay, well, here, this guy will give you an order sheet so that you can fill out the shipping information for the stuff you're going to have shipped, and I'll start to put together the stuff you're going to take today. Cool. So I go over there. I start filling it out. He's like, so have you been here before? I'm like, yep, 3 years ago I was here. Been hooked on your stuff ever since. So he goes, okay, cool. And so he goes off to deal with that. She comes back. She doesn't have my order put together yet, but she is the only register person, so she's there in case somebody else comes up. But nobody comes up, so she starts talking to me and goes, well, you must like our stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I came here 3 years ago, and ever since then I've just been mail ordering most of it since you've been able to send it to Illinois. And she says, are you a member of our family club? And I said, well, I know I'm a member of your VIP club. I don't know what the family club is. And she goes, well, it's based on how much you spend a year. She goes, do you think you spent $1,000 this year with us? I said, oh, I got to be close. And so she says, well, what's your name and what's your telephone number, and pulls it up. And then she goes, okay, yeah, you probably are close. Pulls up all my invoices, runs them together. She's like, oh, you spent $895 so far this year with us. This one's definitely going to put you over because at $1,000 a year, you join the family club, which means you get 20% off of every order and free shipping. I'm like, sweet. And she's like, well, but that's only good till the end of the year, and then it starts back over at zero. I'm like, well, that's not a problem. So she says, well, I'll update your records to make sure that you get into the club for the rest of the year. I said, well, I'll probably be putting another order in beginning of December anyway. So then the guy with the shipping stuff comes back, and she goes, oh, by the way, did you know so-and-so is the brewery manager? And then she starts to tell him about everything that I've ordered and, you know, how loyal of a customer I am. And he starts talking to me, and she goes off to get the cart, gets the cart, brings it back, and he says, okay, well, rather than carting this all the way out to your car, why don't you just pull around back, and we'll just bring it that way. It'll be a lot easier, and, like, I can just drive right up to their loading dock is basically what he's telling me. And then, so I go, okay, and so I start to leave, and the cashier lady starts walking out with me, and suddenly she yells, because they're like, distilling and brewing area is connected to the shop. She yells at somebody, says, hey, come here, this guy just bought $500 worth of your stuff. So he comes up, she goes, oh, this is our master brewer.
Oh, God.
So he starts talking to me and asking me if I like the new flavors and everything, and we probably talked for 15 minutes. And he's like, yeah, it's people like you that make cleaning out these tanks, which is what I was doing, you know, really, you know, worthwhile. I'm like, okay, thank you. I'm like, I really am brand oil. I really like your stuff. Just don't stop making strawberry tangerine and original. Those two, you got to keep making them. And so he tells me about new flavors that are coming out that they don't have advertised yet. And so it was really cool. I felt like kind of a celebrity for a while. And then I was thinking about it
cool.
Today when I was thinking about telling the story, and I'm like, I should have asked him for a sponsorship for the radio show. Damn it. Why wasn't I thinking? You know? So anyway, but yeah.
So I got a story that's not quite as entertaining as yours, but more humiliating on my end.
Oh, okay.
And Kim and I debated about whether or not I talked about this, but then when I realized we haven't done the show in so long, I went back through the links, and yeah, I did not get to tell this story. So right after the last show, Kim and I left to go up to visit my father-in-law up in Maine, up in, Bangor. We already talked about that, covered it. 10-hour drive. We got the dogs with us. So I got two stories about that. The first one is we stop in Massachusetts. First stop where we take the dogs out to do their business. I've got the little one. Kim's got the bigger one. And we're walking in the dog rest area. And Evie, our little one, who I'm walking, all of a sudden she's like sniffing at the ground. She picks her head up and I see she starts foaming at the mouth. I'm like, what in God's name happened? This can't be happening now. We're on the road here. I'm wiping her mouth, like, what, making sure she's not eating something or whatever. Kim comes over. What did she eat, Mike? Said she didn't eat anything, Kim. A couple minutes later, she's fine. We get back on the road. So on the way, we're about 45 minutes from Kim's dad's place. And we're kind of in town, I'll say. Mm-hmm. And by town, main drag and what have you. And out of nowhere, this old dude drives across the road on a ride-on lawnmower.
Okay.
Plaid shirt, shorts, suspenders, hat. I'm like, okay. Didn't think nothing of it. And, hey, that's new. There's never been a red light on this street before. There's never been a light on this street before. It must be to let the old dude on the thing go. I see a sign. It says detour. Normally, when you see detour, that means you are going to have to turn to take an alternate route. No. Goes over the bridge. I notice a sign as I'm pulling onto the bridge. It says 1-lane bridge. Like, I look. Oh, crap. That light was for me to stop because it's a 1-lane bridge and there's cars coming the other way. Throw it in reverse. Suddenly, I'm backing up on the bridge. Thank God nobody's behind me. I'm backing up.
Well,
Kim's just looking like...
Nobody else was dumb enough to go.
Like, nobody else was not from Maine. I finally back up. The dude's all happy. He's like laughing as I pull back, and I'm just like sitting there waiting for this light to change. I'm like, okay, because they're doing construction. They're replacing a bridge. Okay. We get to her dad's house. We're sitting there having something to eat, and Kim's like, so I lose my mind. I'm like, oh, excuse me for a minute. Nobody thought to tell me, like, oh, by the way, when you're coming up, they're replacing the bridge in town. So stop when you see the light. Nobody thought to tell me that they were replacing the bridge. You know, that's kind of information that I need to hear. So I almost killed us. Then coming home, I got my sweet vengeance. We stop at the opposite rest stop in Massachusetts. And this time, Kim has Evie, I have Tyson. Kim's walking Evie, and I see Evie start... What did she eat, Kim? We come to find out. So there's two theories. One is that she just tasted something on the grass that she didn't like in both spots. You know, whatever they're cleaning the grass or spraying on the grass. Two, there was a farmer's market there that weekend on both sides, and they were selling apples. Now maybe they were throwing like the sour apples, the rotten ones, in the dog walk area, and she happened to catch a taste of sour apple from both of them, both spots. But this dog looked rabid. I do have to say. So 2 things I learned. Our dogs are actually very good in the car, which was a pleasant surprise. They slept most of the way. And this trip just cemented the fact that I need a bigger vehicle. Because the Explorer just was not big enough for the two of us, comfortable enough for the two of us, all of our stuff, and the dogs. Yeah.
I thought buying the biggest SUV Honda made would be enough for this trip. Obviously not. I even used like the smuggler's hold underneath the floor of the back to put all the beer that I bought from Three Brothers, and we were still I could see out the back window, but like especially when you're on the highway, that's a handy thing to be able to do, even if you got mirrors, it's just to be able to see out the window. I thought I should have been able to put more in there. Now it didn't help that we packed like what ended up being almost a whole suitcase extra.
Apparently, no, I wasn't that calm when I was backing up because it's a lot harder than it looks. Well, thought for sure I was going to hit something and this is apparently in response to you had my sweet revenge on the way back.
Well, at least we told Kim and you this. At least I don't think you forgot to take anything with you when you went on your trip.
No, did not.
No, see, we were packing up in the rain to leave Springfield for the first night was in West Virginia, and then we made our way onto Virginia Beach. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to forget anything. All right, I think I've got everything. I was trying not to get stuff soaking wet when I was loading up the car. My wife even said, "Do you got everything?" I'm like, "Yep, I got everything. I double checked. There's nothing on the kitchen table, nothing at the bottom of the stairs, nothing in our bedroom that needs to go." So we pull up to the hotel the first night. She's like, "Where's my like bathroom bag?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" And she goes, "Where's the bag that's got all my pills, my hair dryer, my hair curling iron, all that stuff my shampoo, all that stuff that I, packed to bring with me." Like, well, all the bags are in the car. They've got to be in the car. I checked everything. They're in the car. We're 7 hours away from home. It's got to be in the car. And it wasn't in the car. It was sitting right next to the workout bench where I set it so that it wouldn't get wet while I packed other stuff in the car. And so call up my folks and go, hey, can you overnight me a bag that I left at home? I'm like, I know it's going to cost an arm and a leg, but I'll pay it when I get home. So next morning they come, they grab the bag. It is exactly where I remembered putting it after I could have sworn I put it in the car. And $180 later, and a day and a half later, it arrives at her nephew's place, ready for us to take back to the hotel so that she can take her medication and everything. I'm like, oh, God. This was... And then my phone breaks. All right? My Android S8 that I've had for... My Galaxy S8 that I've had for almost 4 years, the USB port on it decides I don't want to work anymore with Android Auto. So what do I decide to do? I decide just to go to AT&T and say, screw it. This is already the trip from hell. I'm just going to buy a new phone. And so I go to AT&T and they're like, yeah, it's been really rough around here. The only thing we have left is an S21 Ultra. Fine. You know what? This works. The whole trip has been like this. Let's just buy the most expensive thing. They're like, or we have the Fold. No, I'm calling it at this. I'm not buying the Fold. I'm not going to buy a $3,000 phone. Let me just buy the $1,800 phone instead. So, yeah. And it was just a long trip. And I was like, so I'm glad to be back. And we have lots of news to get to. I think we spent the first, good portion of the show getting kind of caught up. But Colin, what did you do while we were off?
We don't know what Colin did.
I went camping one weekend.
Did you go in the murder toilet? Or did you?
No, we don't use the murder toilet. It's just there.
In case a murder needs to occur, or you need to be reminded of a murder that happened.
So let's just say for number ones, I used the pit toilet that was at the campgrounds. Mm-hmm. And for number two, I drove 20 minutes to my own bathroom at home.
If it was only 20 minutes away, I'd have probably done the same thing. I wanted to give you crap about it, but I'm that person where if it's 4 o'clock at work and I feel something in my tummy, I'm like, I think I can hold this till I get home from after work at 5. I'm gonna wait it out.
I was timing it for the morning so I could take my shower as well. This doesn't mean anything to Mike. I was at Lake San Chris.
Okay, yeah. So you were at a close watering hole. So
yes.
All right. Yeah, and yeah. So I did get Colin a souvenir while I was gone. Turns out it's what he already drinks. So it's not much of a souvenir, but it's something that at least he likes. I didn't go wrong there.
Now, you bought the mead that I literally buy in, well, not that particular flavor. I don't have a big stock of that particular flavor. But I buy Grenfell or Havoc mead. It's the same company, the same way that you buy your cider.
Okay.
So if you buy it in a 24 pack, you get 10% off and free shipping. So I buy it in 24 packs.
So, all right. So yes. So, any other news that we need to catch up with you on, Colin? Anything exciting? It's been a whole month, so I don't know what else has gone on.
I've just been busy working and fighting with other agencies.
Okay. So you're like world domination of Disney hasn't progressed any further.
That's December.
Okay.
So December is, well,
December's takeover month. All right, got it.
You know what? Come to think of it, I think it's been so long. I don't think we've had a show since I was at Disney last.
Could be. So
because I was at Disney October 1st.
All right.
That was the
Nope.
50th anniversary.
We haven't had a show since you've been to Disney.
So so we all had a cold, and so we were sick at Disney. But I did the COVID test, and it wasn't COVID, so I was like, okay, I'll just.
As long as it wasn't the vid, you're good.
I was there.
Vid, is that what the kids are calling it now?
That's what the kids are calling it. Yeah, the vid.
Oh. And then, my big trip though is that was mostly just to be there for the weekend, for to be there for the 50th, and then the big trip, of course, comes up in December along with my cruise.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, they fly you in just for a short signing during their 50th, and then the big PTR con happens, later on, where it's our dedicated, con just for all of our followers to come and see you exclusively. So yeah.
Yeah, I think the conning is something that was used on a different network that we were once on.
So, moving on. We're getting really close to Well, do we want to talk about Halloween first, since it just happened last night, and all of the things that are Halloween? Because
there is something related there. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I have to show you my new toy.
Okay. So, a couple of Halloween. I don't know. He blacked out. So.
Impressive.
Yeah. So there's a couple of things. There was an article about suggestive inflatables that a neighborhood didn't like. There's a skeleton couple inflatable that was not that people didn't care for too much. Evidently, they thought it was a bit extreme. Maybe too much for the.
We don't need to see skeleton inflatables making out. I mean,
they weren't making out. That's beyond making out.
Okay, all right, but hold on a second. I gotta ask the question. I mean, I know it says lovers in the title here, but I gotta ask the question. How would you know? Are skeletons supposed to wear clothes?
Well, one's got like a veil-y type thing, I think. So that's what tells you one is a.
But
one's
how
a girl.
do you know if a skeleton is naked? This is like, why isn't Donald Duck wearing pants?
I don't know. I don't have an answer for that one.
That would be my argument. Like, how are you telling me that they're naked? And by the way, genitals are flesh.
Yeah, those are
skeletons have no flesh.
Those definitely rot off and out and everything.
Fight me on it. Now, see, we have kids next door, so I can't do stuff like this anymore.
Now, I mean, there's no doubt they're definitely boning, but there's.
Colin, please, God save us.
Here's my new toy.
Oh, you got a proton pack?
It's the.
It's just the beamer. Oh, Jesus Christ! that when that popped out there, I thought that was something completely different for a second. I'll be 100% honest. Go ahead, Mike.
Where did you get that?
It's being made by Hasbro, and they're actually crowdfunding the pack to go with it. It's $124.
Oh, that's a bit pricey.
See here, there's this little meter that actually changes as you turn these metal knobs.
Okay. So it sounds very functional. Okay. Did you dress up as a Ghostbuster for Halloween?
Yeah. I didn't
You did?
have the
Okay.
time to do it. You know, a couple of years when I have the backpack, then yeah, I'll do a full Ghostbusters Halloween costume.
Colin is going to be that guy that he's going to be like, hey, guys, we're going to be the Ghostbusters for Halloween, okay? Cool, cool. And we show up with, like, cardboard and garden hose proton pack. He shows up with the whole legit, officially licensed, signed by Spielberg and christened by
Bill Murray. Well, see, I wouldn't be a Ghostbuster, though, because I know my mom has a pattern for the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man costume. She made one for my dad when I was in Cub Scouts, because my dad's always been a big guy, and it just made sense that a fat guy should be the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
In another life, I would have said I'll go as Winston Zeddemore, but I don't think that's allowed anymore. I think I get in trouble trying to do that.
Yeah, no, you can't do that. No, sorry. You got to pick. You got to pick a white guy. So
could I be Melissa McCarthy from the female Ghostbusters?
You could be Thor from the female Ghostbusters.
Why? Thank you, thank you.
You could be the rookie from the Ghostbusters, the video game.
Or I could be one of the guys from the real Ghostbusters and just mess with all of y'all.
Yep. Or you could be Paul Rudd from the new Ghostbusters movie. You know?
No, I couldn't be Paul Rudd. I couldn't live up to that kind of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure. So, also,
I mean, it's funny because. Funny you mention that because at lunchtime today I'm looking for something to watch while I'm eating my lunch, and I just happen to put on Clueless, and I'm like, "Holy crap! Ant-Man has not changed at all."
No, definitely not.
Put on a little more muscle, maybe, but that's about it.
Yep.
Unlike Daniel Radcliffe, who, as we spoke about during Guns Akimbo, is there anything that this guy won't say? What miracle workers? This show, the first season was okay. I got it. I understood the plot line. Here we are. They're angels and they're trying to save Earth from being destroyed and start. Okay, I get it. But season 3 now, this one is the Oregon Trail. And I was disappointed to find out nobody dies of dysentery.
Do they not stop to hunt every 2 turns? Because that's what I did. I just hunted. Well,
they didn't float the wagon either.
No. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I've never watched the show, so I don't know. So
it's based off of different books from the same author.
Oh.
So it's an author, a humorist named Simon Rich, and each season is a different one of his books. So season 3 was Oregon Trail, season 2 was in the Dark Ages. I've only actually seen parts of season 1.
Yeah, that's got Steve Buscemi as God, right?
Season 1, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Nah, I don't think so. That doesn't look like a good one. Okay, so before we get too far off the Halloween thing, all right, I have 2 links that we need to talk about in it. Other than just the pornographic skeletons. So, and we'll see if we'll find out if we had anybody that used these. So there were 2 lists. Actually, one was just a single one, but it's all inclusive in this list. Halloween costumes not to wear, or to avoid, rather. Okay. So, did anyone see anyone dressed up as a Capitol insurrectionist this year come to your door? Maybe with buffalo horns, an American flag on a staff, face painted in red, white, and blue. No.
I didn't
have the QAnon shaman.
All right. How about as a policeman? Did anybody?
Yes.
Dress up? Okay. I don't know where that's super controversial.
Well,
Everybody, the policeman, okay. I understand there are certain things revolving around the police, but every neighborhood has that kid who wants to be a policeman.
here's the thing: the kid that dressed up as a policeman is the son of a cop,
Yeah, so that's okay.
so he's proud of his dad.
Yeah.
I am not going to be the one to tell him. I understand why, because
Yeah,
police
you're-
brutality is a controversial thing. I get why they're saying this is Yahoo.
Yeah. All right.
Speaking of Yahoos,
Next one. Do not dress up as Donald Trump. I don't care if you really like Donald Trump or if you don't like Donald Trump. Don't dress up as Hillary Clinton or Joe Biden or name a political figure here. Don't dress up as political figures. They're not funny or scary.
Unless
honestly,
they're-
if you're going to dress, go ahead, because you're probably going to be
unless they're
funnier
old
than I
enough,
am.
if you want to dress up as Teddy Roosevelt or Abraham Lincoln
Okay.
or George Washington, have fun. But
No living political figures.
I mean,
Yeah.
I thought at one point I was maybe I would dress up as like Nixon, but put the chef's hat on. And when people say, "Who are you supposed to be?" I am not a cook.
That's good. I like that.
he's dead.
But
Great.
Yeah, that's cool. That's good.
and speaking of political, no, I think going as Mike Pence with a fly on his head. Mike Pence is the perfect politician. I'm going to tell you exactly why. Not because of what he did in office. The fact that since he is no longer in office, you don't hear hide nor hair from him trying to influence anything.
And if you're
I
going
don't
to go,
need him.
if you're going to go with Mike Pence with a fly on his head, go with a huge fly, a big one. All right, like
Better yet,
Giant.
go as a fly
with,
with
Mike Pence.
Pence on your head.
Yeah, reverse
There
it.
you go.
An inverted Pence
That's
fly
fine.
meme. Don't go as a COVID virus Pokeball thing. I think we can. All
I don't
agree
know
with
who
that.
would have thought to do that, but I don't know who would have thought to go as a COVID vaccine either. All right, you might
Yeah.
as well just just hand the knife to somebody because you're going to get shanked.
Yeah. Don't go as an anti-vaxxer. Yeah, no, that's not cool either.
You're going to make somebody else mad, or somebody else think you actually mean it. Either way, you're not coming out ahead. And don't come out as a anti-vaxxer. No, what? Okay, that one. I'm sorry. It says anti-vaxxer with a dead child. Don't go as that. I'm like, I
Don't
really
ever
think
go
that's-
with a dead. I don't care what you are with a dead child. Don't go
Yes.
with that. Let's just leave it at that. Don't go to any Halloween thing as something with a dead child. Not a good look. The next one. I know it's tempting to make fun of people taking ivermectin, but let's leave the horse drug and its side effects out of Halloween. I didn't even know that could be a costume.
I don't even know that.
It's a
This-
toilet
this
costume.
is a-
Yeah, I don't know what a toilet costs. Honestly, here's my stupidity in a drug meant for horses that people are taking. I don't know that it causes diarrhea. I couldn't tell you the validity of that claim whatsoever. Here's one. Hand sanitizer. Don't go as that. I agree. Don't go as a Karen. All right, that's just dumb.
So, I do have a friend who is a bartender that went as a Karen, but with a knife through her head.
Okay,
So she was the dead Karen,
I'm good with that.
aka the Karen everyone wants to see.
Did she have like a little speech bubble that says, "Can I see your manager" or something?
No, but that would have been good.
No sexy nurses this year.
I'm like, okay.
Okay, so they'll go as a sexy nun because that's better. 13. This is one Mike said, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Thanks a lot. Sexy Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I didn't even know that was a thing.
I don't think it is a
It's got to be a thing.
No, it's not.
It's a thing. Look, we
I
got
know
one.
people.
We got one.
I know there have been people that have gone as Ruth Bader Ginsburg, or even a spin on it, the notorious RBG.
Yeah.
On her best day, with several Instagram filters, Ruth Bader Ginsburg never looked like that. And I'm not saying that to be nasty. I'm saying that to tell you just how bad of an idea that costume is.
Yeah, I don't.
That
think
seems like something like Borat would have done. Okay,
you know what? I did a. This is how bad it is. How few people have dressed up as this. I did a search for sexy Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I will tell you, there is like maybe 3 results, which are actually what I would classify as sexy Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and one of them is like a drawing, not even a like image. So
Ruth Bader Ginsburg in manga.
I wonder if you have to look up Supreme Court because they
Stop. Just
Yes.
stop. You're going to wind up on a list somewhere. Can you just move on?
Please, they can't. Oh my!
He's already on the list.
The list is by subscription only, and I won't pay for it.
I don't understand this next one though. Why are we avoiding Harry Potter costumes? It's just because it's been overdone, or
Yeah, I don't get it either.
Well, because of the comment, I think maybe they're just commenting on how almost canceled JK.
Yeah, it's got to be that. It's got to be relating to that.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Next,
and the last one.
Yeah.
Can we talk about we got to talk about this show for a second? But yeah, Squid Game costumes okay, unless you're in school. But sexy Squid Game, no, there is nothing sexy about Squid Game.
I haven't watched it.
Nothing sexy about Squid Game. Okay.
I'm like the one person that hasn't watched it, evidently.
No, there's a bunch of people, and I actually got into an argument with somebody online in the Aldi group, no less, who was
That's
saying...
not something you say every day. 20 years ago, would that have been a thought? Would that have been a thing 20 years ago?
No.
He said, I got into an argument with somebody in the Aldi group. And like,
This was
an
ridiculous.
Aldi coupon clipping group? I don't know what you mean.
Apparently, this person was saying that Squid Game is nothing but murder and rape, murder porn and rape porn, and it's sad that kids are watching this. And I replied back. I said, you seem like you want to be an intellectual. I'm surprised you didn't pick up on the socioeconomic theme. And she said, "Oh, I haven't even seen it." Oh, so you judge you judge a book by its cover. Fascinating. I thought Squid Game was excellent. Was it violent? Yes, it was. And if you didn't know that going in, then you're just stupid. It was excellent.
It was just, how can you not know that that's that way? I mean, it's pretty simple.
Anything, the issue is that it was dubbed. And apparently there was a whole big to-do about they dubbed it poorly. So the true meaning was not translated. Well, guess what? The not true meaning was friggin' awesome. So shut up. And I'm sorry, this last one I don't get either. Although I'm sure it has something to do with the Me Too movement. But they're saying don't do anything. Stay away from anything to do with Army Hammer.
Something about cannibalism.
Apparently he's a bit abusive and cannibal. So, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, and while we're at it, stay away from anything Harvey Weinstein, Kevin Spacey,
Dahmer.
I'm surprised there wasn't very many Aunt Becky's out there. Like rowing.
Oh, my wife said she's going to be back on the Hallmark Channel soon.
I don't care.
I just heard that though. I'm like, really?
Did her daughter get eliminated from Dancing with the Stars yet?
I don't know.
Oh no, because they got the World Series, so they skipped this week. Okay.
So, yeah, somebody said Lori Loughlin is going to be back on the Hallmark Channel. So that'll be interesting. Just in time for Christmas.
Yeah, you can tell that this list was created before more recent events. Because there's also the very obvious, please do not go dressed with a name tag that says, "Hello, I am Brandon." Just no.
Yeah, and not go with one. Go with blue shirt guy. Go with free guy. You know.
Yeah, blue shirt guy. Yeah,
blue shirt guy. Go with blue shirt guy. That's fine.
Or the other blue shirt guy.
Yeah.
All I'm going to say is I was very tempted to go and buy a shirt of that NASCAR driver, Brandon, that won that race. Just to wear that, because honestly, at least then I could say, well, no, listen, I'm a NASCAR fan, and I appreciate what they tried to do. And guess what? This underdog rookie kid got a new fan because I felt like they destroyed his moment. You know, that was the equivalent of the Kanye West, I'm going to let you finish.
Yeah.
But there was no Beyonce coming out at the next race to say, hey, yo, I want to give you your moment.
You know, all right, so speaking of that, because that's kind of like one of those points in between generations. So I got, well, not really speaking of it, but I think I want to try this. So I got a new game called Full of It. All right? It's a game, but it's more conversation starters. So it actually says conversation starters for horrible people and dirty liars. Well, I think that is right up our alley. You know?
What are you saying?
I'm just saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. You know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there are official rules to this, but I don't like their rule. There's a full of it mode and there's an icebreaker mode, but I don't like either one of them. So we're just gonna pick
dirty
a card.
Rotten Scoundrels. So we're just gonna do whatever.
So
all right. So what do we got to do here?
You don't got to do nothing other than answer a question. Okay. It's the simplest game in the world, Mike. It really doesn't get any easier than this. So, Mike, actually, no, this will be Colin. This will be Colin, because it's a Colin-appropriate question. All right? What is the strangest place you've ever taken a dump? And just so everybody knows, that's actually what's on the card.
It's not a topic I've ever considered before.
You never thought about where you've taken a deuce at?
I've never considered any of them weird.
Most obscure place, then, I guess. You've never had to find a tree.
No, never had to
I'm
find.
Starting to think the murder toilet may be in the lead here. I don't know.
Never used the murder toilet. Otherwise,
somebody just tuning in is going to be like, the what?
I mean, it's probably going to have to be some porta potty somewhere. But I have,
Okay, so Colin.
I don't have the answer to that.
So, all right. So Colin has no answer to the strangest place he's ever poo-pooed. All right. So, Mike, I don't even know that you'll have an answer to this one either. What is the stupidest thing you've ever done in another country?
Stupidest thing I've ever done in another country. I almost jumped. So this was in Canada, in Niagara Falls. And I was like 12 years old. And we're walking, and I was going to jump over this like concrete wall, thinking that, it was just like a Disney like kind of thing. And so I got up to the top, and if I had jumped, I would have been dead because there was a 40-foot drop on the other side of that wall. I just remember looking down, and I think my sunglasses fell off and shattered down the bottom. And I don't think I've ever been so scared in my entire life. But that would have been the stupidest thing I ever would have done. Would be, die.
Yeah, that would have been dumb.
So in the end, so my wife answers the question about the strangest place to drop a deuce.
She's absolutely correct.
You are a better person than I am, because I'd have been like, I can't stand up. I need to keep pressure on this wound until we get home.
No, she's right. When you got to go, you got to go. And then some things have to be sacrificed for the good of the world. It's sock, underwear, whatever.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
Didn't you have socks on when you left? Maybe.
No, I always like sweaty feet in shoes. All right, so I got my card. So there's.
It's a good thing I didn't give you that one that Mike just had, because I'm at T minus 48 days from being in a foreign country for the first time.
So, my card, describe any experience you've had with a stripper. Well, I'm going to give you the earliest one, because I think that's the funnest one. So, I think I was 10, maybe 12, which sounds really bad if I was to just stop there, as a dead stop. But I'll continue. My dad was having his birthday party at our house, and suddenly this woman in Daisy Dukes and like a tied up, like picnic table patterned shirt comes to the door with her boombox and asks to use the phone, because back in those days you didn't have cell phones, to call a repair person for her car that had broken down. And my mom quickly tried to shuffle all of us kids to the back bedroom. Now, granted, who is there at my house? My dad's best friend, my dad's mom and dad, some other people from my dad's work, my aunt and uncle from my mom's side was there. It was a pretty big party going on. And as soon as my mom had all of us, she thought, sequestered into the back bedroom, the music started, at which point I decided I wanted to see what was going on. And so I crept down the hallway because it sounded like the adults were having a great time, and I wanted to know what it was about. And lo and behold, the dad was sitting on a chair, and this woman was taking off her clothes, playing the music from her boombox. And yeah, after she got done taking off, she took off her shorts, shook off her shirt, then she took off her bikini top that she had on. She was down to like at those times we didn't do G-strings back then. That was like bikini bottoms. That's when my mom caught me and sent me back to the room to watch Dukes of Hazzard. So that was the first experience with a stripper that I had. Like I said, 10 or 12 years old. And as I continue to tell people, I grew up in a different house than a lot of people did. But yeah, so that was the first one. But, so let's see here. We'll do one more round just for the heck of it, especially since Colin didn't have a great answer to going. Oh, no, not that one. Okay, we'll do that one for Mike. I don't know if this one will apply to you or not, Colin, but we're going to give it a shot. I imagine at some point it had to. So, what is the most embarrassing thing that's happened to you in front of a crush? I mean, I got to imagine, like most of us, you had a crush growing up,
Yeah. But I don't remember ever being embarrassed in front of a crush. Of course, I did everything I could to not talk to anybody. So, I mean,
never had your mom say, "Oh, Chris really likes it when you come over," to watch him after school or whatever. Because that happened to me with my babysitter next door, who was like 18 when I was like 8. I'm just as an example that might have happened to you.
Just spitballing.
Just throwing it out there as an idea of something which maybe happened. I don't know.
I don't know. There seems to be a low occurrence of things in your deck that have any meaning to my life here.
All right. Well, since Mike is on the ropes and we know Mrs. 8-Man is watching, this one should be fun. Maybe she'll have an answer if you don't. What is the word?
Let me pull up the message window. Hold on. Hey, Colin, here you go.
Displaying strip poker count. I don't know which card that relates to. Oh, embarrassing thing in front of your crush, or
I don't remember whatever I have no idea what that could apply to.
Because that plays actually into this card for Mike.
Oh, hell.
I don't know if Mama Blair is like a psychic or what, but
Christ.
What is the worst way you've ever tried to spice up your sex life?
Let's see. Well, this was not in my current relationship, so this was not with Kim. This was when I was much younger.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys might actually get a kick out of this one because it ties to the former network that we used to be on. So I asked my then girlfriend to bring one of her friends over, who was an amateur or aspiring singer, to record some intros and outros for the show. And my goal was not so much to get something for NHB, but was to try and get them both in bed. And it failed miserably.
Mm-hmm.
God, did it fail miserably. Like this is the first time I've ever spoken of it. Failed miserably.
Similar to you, in a way old relationship, I had something very similar. Very similar happen. So yeah. Those never work out the same way they do in the movies.
Nothing works out the way it does in the movies.
No.
Nothing.
No. So.
And we're going to leave it at that.
Yeah. No. No movie.
About the only thing that would have worked out is I could have snapped my fingers and said, "I am Iron Man," and I would have just fell into dust at that point because it would have been less painful.
Yeah. Yep. I got that.
Let's do one more round here.
All right.
Why not?
Originally,
okay, wait, before you do it.
Yeah.
So, Mama Blair. So, as for taking, how about on the doctor's shoes while giving birth? I don't, from what I have heard and read about the actual act of childbirth, that apparently is more common than women want to let on.
Yeah.
But peeing and pooping yourself is apparently a thing.
It's part
when
of the
you're
course.
giving birth.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
It might now. I am not going to say whether that's embarrassing or not, because of course it could be. An embarrassing thing.
Yeah,
maybe, I guess, but quite common.
Okay. Here, this one, Colin can answer. I know Colin can answer this one. What issue came up most in your parent-teacher conferences? There has to be an answer to this somewhere.
But I was never there for the parent-teacher conference.
I know, but you have to have an inkling. Like, Colin's too quiet. He needs to volunteer more information, or,
Oh, I've never had any problem with volunteering information. The biggest problem I ever had was actually doing homework.
So you didn't do your homework?
Oh, I'm terrible at homework. I powered through high school by just being very good at tests and quickly doing homework while the teacher was going around picking up the assignments.
Okay, maybe Mama Blair will chime in on this one because she was at the parent-teacher conferences, so she should know what the most common thing regarding Colin was. So maybe we'll find out. All right, so Mike, there's 3 choices here for you. What do you want? 1, 2, or 3?
3.
3. What is the coolest place you've ever been drunk?
The coolest place I have ever been drunk, huh? Cool is kind of a relative opinion, though, isn't it?
I guess, but I mean, what's the?
I mean, I could say, you know, that I successfully drank my way around the world at Epcot, so that's pretty cool. But other people might be like, yeah, well, that's fucking stupid. I could say that I was drunk off my ass at several NASCAR races, but most people would think that's ridiculously stupid.
Well, they think it's normal. I mean, you know, unless you were if you were in the infield, especially.
Well, yeah.
Can you name a place you've been drunk where you shouldn't have been drunk? Not talking like behind the wheel of a car. So, like a location.
So I was drunk where I shouldn't have been drunk. Church?
Okay.
For a wedding, not mine.
Were you in the wedding party?
I was in the wedding party. As we've established, I don't go to the church unless I'm in the wedding.
True.
Oh, okay. Here, no. See, no. All right. So we had a bar. We used to have our annual barbecues here. I know exactly what she's talking about because she got video of it. I can't deny this.
So Mrs. 8-Man said, "How about in our pool when you were wasted? That was cool."
So, listen, no, it was cool. Okay, so there's a whole big story behind this one. A friend, my best man, was pouring fireball shots for me and this other guy. Somehow we went through 2/3 of a big bottle of Fireball just between the two of us. That's how many shots we did. He had to be carried out, and oh God, I'm so drunk. I go over to our pool, which is buried halfway in the ground. I go over to our pool, and I just start leaning back on the railing, and everybody knows what's coming. Take my shoes off. I pull myself over and jump into the pool. And my socks were still on. I took my socks off. I started throwing them at people. And then instead of going to the ladder to climb out, I climb over the one side of the wall and fall onto my wife's flowers and get up that way.
Ah, so debonair.
Because in my mind, that's the end of the pool that is buried far enough that it was only like a 2-foot drop from the top of the pool wall. You know, because ladder for to climb did not compute. So then I go into our back room because I realize I must go dry off and get changed now because I'm wet. I'm not that drunk. But the air conditioning is blasting in the house. I'm soaking wet. I grab the comforter quilt off of the couch that's in the back room and wrap myself in it and proceed to stand there and shiver until my wife comes in and pushes me to the bedroom to get changed. Now, here we go. Mama Blair chiming in.
Tell the story about second grade recess.
I mean, Second grade recess.
Did you like pants a girl or something, or
No, at some point, I was pants myself.
Oh,
I'm not sure if that's but whatever. I don't know if that's the story. If she has another story.
Mama Blair, it's been repressed.
well, okay. Mama Blair chiming in here.
Drunk at my
boss's party, where I carried Dan on my back while wearing a dress and hiked my skirt up, so I was running around with my pantyhose butt hanging out and fell up the stairs. Damn, I so wish I could have partied with y'all.
I will say,
people often ask, if you had access to a time machine, where would you go? I never had a firm answer. Now I do. I want to party with the Blairs in their prime.
Yeah. I have a feeling just from hanging out, Mama Blair even though this story centers around Mr. Blair getting on her back, I believe she was probably the more party animal. I seem to think your dad's probably more reserved, Colin. Now, maybe in his wild youth he wasn't, but seems awfully stoic.
Compared to my mom, just about anybody is reserved.
So,
my mom grew up on a farm. My mom grew up on a farm where fun was attaching a big piece of metal to the back of a tractor and have everybody sit on the piece of metal while somebody else drives the tractor around, and everybody tries not to die.
Well, shit.
Okay, so my card is, what's the most minor crime you've ever been caught committing? So I wasn't caught by the police or anything, but I was caught by my parents. And it wasn't even a crime, but I will say this is probably one of the times where they were the most kind of like the most upset at me, I would say. We were up north in Wisconsin on a vacation or something, and one of the things was to go get like penny candy type crap, right? And all of us kids bought candy cigarettes, but they weren't just the regular Snap sugar candy cigarettes. They were almost like the bubble gum ones wrapped in a paper wrapper with all the powder around it, and so you would just blow through and smoke came out, right?
Yep.
Well, I thought my parents went back into the store for something, left us kids out in the van. First of all, that's a horrible idea. Don't ever do that. All right. I thought, well, this would probably look cooler if I had the cigarette lighter, from the car up to it. It would probably make it even more awesome. At that point, parents came out, saw me putting the cigarette lighter to the actual like bubble gum cigarette stick. And that's when I got the only part of a movie that's ever been, truer to life is, hey, if you want to smoke, we'll buy you a whole carton, and you're going to smoke it all before you stop. Threatened, So thank goodness I didn't start smoking early in life, or it would have been horrible. But like I said, not necessarily a crime, but that's probably the thing I was caught doing as a child. That was one of the most embarrassing type things along those lines that I was caught doing. So, but fun little game. If you need conversation starters, especially if you got a group of friends coming over and you don't know what else to do, grab yourself a box full of it. It's fun. My wife actually said, "Oh, cool, another card game that you can play with the kids." No, not playing this with the children. Not at all, because I don't want to know my daughter's answers, and she don't want to know mine.
I am going to add this to my cart right now.
But it will be fun to have on the show occasionally. So, always looking for fun stuff for the show. So we got a few more minutes before we get into our double feature movie review. Long overdue double feature movie review. And real quick, we've got a list of things boomers and millennials love saying. And I'm curious, because technically, we're on the boomer side, I believe. We're definitely not on the millennial side.
No, we're X.
Yeah, we're X.
We're late X.
So, but I think a lot of these things we have probably said in our past, at least from the boomer side of things, because we grew up with our parents saying these things. Meanwhile, I don't know if we have, I've definitely heard millennials say some of this stuff, and maybe you guys working around millennials might have heard this. So,
working around what?
Millennials. So
no, I'm one of the young ones. So
boomers love to say, "I'm videoing this," or "I'm taping this."
Taping, yes. Not video. I've never said that.
I've said taping. I've said taping, even though I haven't had a VHS, camcorder for 20 years. But I'm sorry, it's still easier than saying, "I'm recording this," or taping. It's taping. I don't know what to tell you.
Sometimes I'll say I'm filming.
Yeah, but there's no film.
Don't worry, I got this on film.
Yeah. Millennials love saying F this, F that, this is effed up. And literally they have EFF here, not like the F word. Now we will just go for the F word because we're going to go for the gusto.
It depends on my audience. If we're speaking in person, and it's like us guys, I'm dropping the F-bomb.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm typing it out where it could eventually be traced back to me, I may censor myself and use EFF.
Okay. Here's one. Boomers love saying just nuke it when something could be warmed in the microwave. I have used nuke it my entire life. I'm not going to change now.
Yeah. Well, I would say that the boomers might use nuke as the actual thing they're saying to use. If I'm going to say nuke it, I'm going to say it because it's funny.
Now it's like the link or the picture when you posted this link. The boomer, just nuke it. And the first thing that comes to mind when I see just the phrase, just nuke it, is the movie Aliens.
Okay, you're thinking like just destroy it. You're not thinking
nuke
microwave.
It from orbit.
Okay.
Only way to be sure.
Yep. I get it.
But I do say nuke it, meaning heat it up in the microwave.
Yeah. Here's one that I don't think I have ever heard any millennials say this. Millennials love saying ditto. Really?
Let me tell you something. My mother, this is because Ghost, okay?
Yeah.
For no other reason than the movie Ghost. My mother used to do that shit when somebody would say, "I love you, ditto." I will smack those dentures out of your mouth. Stop it.
Yeah.
Just stop.
I would say ditto sounds almost more Gen X than is millennial.
I don't even think it's Gen X. I think it's like, the greatest generation, like the 20s or whatever, when ditto copies came out. I don't think of it as even, no. I don't
know. Anyway, yeah, continue.
Boomers love saying they returned from Facebook jail. Most boomers can't keep their account up without getting their super simple password figured out long enough to say they're in Facebook jail. The only thing boomers say is, "Hey guys, don't accept any invitations from my account. I got hacked again because my street address was my password."
Boomers are the reason that these Etsy people can sell coffee mugs that say "Facebook Jail Survivor."
Yeah, it's not a boomer thing. That's a
stupid thing.
Yeah, stupid thing.
Well, I was going to say far-directioned political people who like to spout off on Facebook. And I say it that way because it doesn't matter which way it is. It can be far left. It can be far right.
Here's what. Millennials love saying, so I did a thing. And the thing they did is like they bought a desk.
So I remember the last time I said this. Was when
if I put it in a post, it's ironic.
Well, that's just I walked into my mechanic when I got my Explorer, and I said, "So I did a thing. You're not going to be happy." I said, if you were planning on your kids going to college, you're going to have to find somebody else with a broke down car because I did a thing. I mean,
that's in the category of just great phrases that, it's. I don't care who came up with it. It's like, well, that happened.
Yeah. Or like in Galaxy Quest, after they all get the pods, they all get up and Tech Sergeant Chen shows up. He's like, "Whoa, that was a thing." I mean, yes. So I don't know. I don't. Maybe that makes me I don't know. Does that make me a millennial or a boomer? I don't know.
I don't know.
But I think it's funny.
Boomers love saying, "Let me ask you this," instead of just going straight to the question. I can't argue with that. And again, I fall into the same problem. I have done that.
See,
as well.
I don't say. Let me ask you this. I will if I'm setting you up for something, I will flat out tell you. I'm going to ask you a question. Like I have to announce that what I'm about to say is going to be a question, so yes. I expect an answer. That kind of thing. Whether
I explicitly put a question mark at the end or not, just imply one.
My voice is not going to go up at the end?
I'm not sure if that is referring to, like, you walk up to someone and say, someone asks you a question as the first thing you say, or is that you're in the middle of a big debate and then you're like, okay, I'm asking a question because I'm taking a little time out here from our little discussion here and going, let's clarify this little thing.
No, I don't think.
No, it's a little both. It's not like I'm just going up to random people on the street saying, "I'm going to ask you a question. Do you like bananas?"
I'm not just. How do you like my fist?
Boomers love saying phone tag. Okay. What do you call it when you're bouncing back and forth between phone calls and you keep hitting each other's voicemails? I don't know what it is.
This is okay. Let me. This may be the defining characteristic of whether I'm a boomer or millennial, because I was right now years old when I realized that. This is number 6. These are opposite, supposed to be opposites here. Boomers love saying phone tag, or millennials love saying an oldie but a goodie and sending you a YouTube link from 2008. What if you do both? These are not opposites.
No.
Boomers love saying phone tag. Millennials love saying tag, you're it. That to me would be a comparison here.
Yeah.
I'm confused by this list now.
Yeah. Too much is like boomers like eating hot dogs. Millennials like sleeping in. That's what we're getting out of this.
Exactly.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's like number 9. Boomers love saying that's the $1 million question. Millennials love saying black like my soul. What? How? Those two aren't equivalent. That's not even on the same scale. Boomers love saying
that's not millennial. That's emo. Yeah. That's not millennial.
That's yeah.
That's somebody who sits there and listens to the Johnny Cash version of Hurt.
Number 10.
While burning patchouli and putting on their freaking eyeliner. I hurt myself today.
This one might get to you, Mike. Boomers love saying the COVID. Millennials love saying I was today years old when I learned this.
Well, I'm a millennial then. The best has to be my mother calls it the Kovic. I don't know what the hell the Kovic is. I don't know.
Kovic.
I don't know the dude from the. I don't even know I don't even know a famous Vic that I could even parlay that into an impression of any kind.
Boomers love saying pot instead of weed. No, boomers will say pot, weed, ganja, marijuana.
Boomers will say the pot. They will call it Mary Jane. They will call it reefer.
Yep.
No millennial calls it reefer.
No, millennials all use like the individual strains. Oh, I'm having some like crushed indigo, or
this is a lie. Millennials don't say my partner and I before describing heterosexual activities. Millennials say my partner and I before they describe non-gender specific activities.
All right, I'm going to get into a
topic
here.
I'm
going to spend a couple minutes here because we were just told that one of the relatives has pronounced that they've decided that they're non-binary.
Oh Christ!
And that their pronouns are now we they. And I'm like,
no, they're not.
I'm like, we they is plural. We they is plural. So unless they like conjoin twins, that can't be their pronoun.
I was like, Demi Lovato did the same thing, saying pronouns are we they. No. I respect that you want to be non-gender, non-binary, but your pronouns cannot be plural. That means you are non-gender schizophrenic.
Yeah, that's like
you have multiple non-binary personalities.
Non-binary doesn't mean, duo.
And I am 100% sure that I'm pissing people off by saying this right now, that I'm coming off as insensitive. But listen, I don't pretend to understand it. I don't pretend that I don't relate to it. Do I respect somebody who wants to be non-binary? Sure. Do I think that we should have non-binary passports available to people so that their gender is now X? No, I don't. I think that's. I personally think it's stupid. But they're binary and non-binary. So you are either one of two roles or you are somewhere along a spectrum. There's no plurality in there. Go figure out different pronouns.
Yeah.
Different singular pronouns. Make up words.
Yeah.
I don't care. When you see a dog or a cat and you're not sure if it's a boy or a girl, what do you say? Oh, look at it. Exactly. There you go.
But it seems to be offensive when you're talking about people. I don't know why. But if you don't know what you are, how the hell am I supposed to know what you are? And again, like Mike said, I'm not trying to be offensive. I just don't know. All right? I don't get it. There are things in this world I don't get, and that's one of them, is I don't know how you can all of a sudden decide to be plural.
The same people that came up with this stuff with these pronouns are the people that came up with this Common Core math bullshit. They're just trying to rewrite every freaking language rule, math rule that we ever learned as kids. They're trying to phase out our generation of learning, making us obsolete. That's what they're trying to do. Well, I got 2 words for you. Excel calculations. I'll figure it out no matter what you put.
Google Sheets.
I'm going to show the work? No, I'm going to show you the formula. That's all.
That's right.
I'll show you which function I use to figure it out.
Now, they has a long history in the English language of being singular. I'm not worried about they. We...
Okay. You're right. You're right.
They is traditionally used in a singular past tense, though.
Yes, but it is still singular. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like, it's related to them. So, someone might bring this over to them. Okay, that's you're not going to be confused if there's only one person over there for that.
Okay.
But,
You're right.
But to expect a singular we, that's I haven't really come across that.
No, see, look. Hey, see, what they need is this thing called a neo pronoun.
There's Z, which is ZE, and there's XE, and there's M.
That's what they need. Use new words that we don't know that we can take it and that we can use.
They can't be ye, because then you get sued by Kanye West.
Yeah.
The artist formerly known as Kanye West.
Right.
But they as a singular goes back to 1375, so that's been around.
No, you're right. Like as you said it, it clicked in my head that if I'm relaying information and I don't want to say who gave me that info,
you do say they.
I would say, oh well, they said. So you're right.
Yeah.
But my everything I said about we still stands.
Yeah. Nope. So, all right. So it is now time for a double feature movie review, and we have a couple of interesting movies, I think, this evening. One of which I watched early, and one of which I watched recently. So, Paper Tigers is a Netflix movie that was on it, and the other one was what?
The Last Witch Hunter.
The Last Witch Hunter. That's right. Yep. So we do have both of those this evening to go over. And so Last Witch Hunter is a 2015 big film. And so let's see here. Who wants to start off? Colin, let's go to you.
Yeah, that's fine. Which movie?
You want to start off with The Witch Hunter? The Last Witch Hunter?
Sure, do the Last Witch Hunter.
Okay.
So, Last Witch Hunter, which is honestly, I had this a bit conflated in my head with The Witcher, because they're very similar in many ways, although The Witcher is good, and The Last Witch Hunter is not so good. So this is basically a vanity project for Vin Diesel, where he plays a immortal I guess the witch hunter, although he doesn't really hunt anymore. He now just kind of puts them in witch jail. But he's immortal for reasons that are important to the plot. And so, he has a sword. It has similarities to so many other immortal type things, like Highlander, that kind of thing. But he works for this organization which is loosely attached to like the Catholic Church. But he has Michael Caine as a guy who's like keeping track of his life. But that character is seemingly killed, but then not killed, and instead he has Elijah Wood, Frodo, being the replacement for Michael Caine, and then lots of things go on. Turns out that his immortality is more about this other, that the witch who gave it to him, just saving her immortality, come back later and try to kill everybody again. It's just one of those movies that's like they've read and watched so many other things and they've decided to make their own. Like I read, this is actually based off of Vin Diesel's character from the Dungeons and Dragons movie. They liked the idea of a witch hunter so much from that they decided to make an entire movie about it. But it's very derivative. Like I said, a lot of it actually seems to have been lifted directly from The Witcher, down to the idea of he has a special sword and The Witcher has a special sword. And this movie did very badly, but because it's the Vin Diesel vanity project, back in as early as last year, they said they're going to do another sequel to it. And I'm like, the basic what's going on. I like that kind of idea of this immortal guy who knows everything that's going on that the normal people don't know about. But this movie, as it is, I don't give it a meh. It's just kind of meh.
Okay. All right, Mike, do you next?
Oh, God. Okay, full disclosure, I almost fought this one. Because I called it a real movie, and I saw this movie a few years back. And before I go anywhere, did Colin just compare this to Highlander, the greatest movie that was ever made? Listen, there can be only one. All right. On the anniversary of Sean Connery's death, no less. Quote from the movie, "There are shades of evil everywhere." Well, son of a bitch. That was a profound statement that I never expected from this movie. And wow, does this is this suitable, especially on this eve of election day? He's got a flaming sword, so he's Azor Ahai, right? Game of Thrones reference there, fitting since his witch friend was in Game of Thrones. There's a few rules that anybody who's ever watched any kind of movie should follow. Like there's the stereotypical horror movie rules, like don't go running alone in the woods. There's the joke that the black guy always dies first in horror movies, like older horror movies. My rule is never trust Elijah Wood in a movie. He's still tainted mentally by that one ring to rule them all. And he got what he deserved. This was one of those movies that I kind of thought would have been better if it was made during a different time. Like, I'm not exactly sold on Vin Diesel in the lead here. I can't quite put my finger on why. Maybe it's because seeing him in the beginning and in the flashback scenes as a Viking just does... He looks more like a bearded Fred Flintstone than a Viking. So maybe it's seeing him side by side with Ygritte from Game of Thrones. I don't know. Something just... I couldn't put my finger on it, besides the fact that it was just horrible, but there was something about this movie that bothered me. So I'm with Colin. I'm just going to give this a meh. With the exception of Michael Caine, the movie is pretty forgettable.
Okay. Puts me up next. So, like Colin said, this is in the realm of a lot of the, non-killable characters. I would say this is, rather than going with Highlander, I would say this is more akin to I, Frankenstein. All right? That's where I drew a parallel with this one a little bit. To me, it seems similar production value, similar script value, similar, cast, quality, all that kind of stuff. I saw it, like mirrored pretty well. Now, I am not traditionally a, I don't even know if you'd call this a horror movie, but because it is definitely more adventure, fantasy, action-y type thing. But there's a few dark scenes in it. But I liked it. Now, I will tell you, I got Elijah Wood confused. I thought that was Daniel Radcliffe. So for a second, I thought, boy, Harry Potter really needs roles because he has taken everything. And I'm not the only one who confused him, evidently. There's a large contingent of people who went, Harry Potter really went downhill fast. But maybe they were just relating to his other films. I don't know. So anyway, the bright spots in this movie, Michael Caine, Vin Diesel, Rose Leslie, those are the highlights. All right, if you're going to watch the movie, you're watching them for those three characters mainly. And, if you like that action, adventure, fantasy movie, this is right up your alley, I think. Now, I didn't know a lot of the backstory about the Dungeons and Dragons stuff and things like that. But, I am one of those rare people that liked I, Frankenstein. Not a lot of people liked that movie with Aaron Eckhart in it, but I did. So that's why I think I liked this movie. And, it had a good enough, role where it kept the pace moving. I thought it was a pretty good flick. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a smile, because I think that it deserves a little bit better than just a meh. So I'll give it a smile. I love Michael Caine, especially in these roles where he's like the Alfred type, right? Because that seems to be his jam right now. He is Alfred with different names. All right, so for sure, that's what I give this one. All right, next up, Paper Tigers. Colin, you're up.
Oh, Paper Tigers. There was a moment I was watching this with my parents, and my mom said, "What movies were watched to have this movie come up as a recommendation?" I was like, I'm not exactly sure. This movie seems to have been written as a reaction to movies like Karate Kid, in that the people who made this movie don't really like Karate Kid that much, and that they put a main character in here to make fun of white people who think that they are karate people and believe that they actually are Chinese when they're very much not. So this is a very, very, very easy plot to go through. So Paper Tigers are 3 guys, 2 Chinese guys, 1 black guy. And they were, I'm going to keep things to English terms because I can't remember everything. So they're like the disciples of this karate teacher, or kung fu, sorry, or gung fu, whatever they were saying. Their master, who actually was just a line cook. And one of them gets branded to say that he's supposed to be the one who keeps that particular family of gung fu masters going. But in today's world, the one who got branded is now an insurance salesman who is has a kid. I don't know if it was ever really made clear if he was divorced or just had a kid with this woman. I was unclear on that, but he hasn't fought for years. The second one learned Chinese medicine from their master, but he hurt his leg doing construction. And the third one is like working in like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or something. I forget what it was, but he's forgotten most of his Chinese. But somehow their old master gets killed, and so these 3 bumbling old guys are now trying to figure out why their master got killed. In the meantime, they have a fight with these 3 teenagers / I don't know, college students, I don't know how old they were, who seem to be trying to pretend that they were the disciples of the guy. Then they fight the white guy who thinks he's Chinese and lose. And then in the end, they discover that this their master was killed by someone who he brought on as a student later. At that point, the master is now not really just Pat Morita. He's also a bit of the master from Kill Bill, teaching them these special moves that can kill people by hitting them just right. That's pretty much the entire movie. In the end, the guy gets back together with his kid and decides to teach his kid how to fight instead of just telling him to run away from stuff. And I'm not exactly sure who this movie is for. I will tell you it is too long and way too slow. And I am going to give it a cough.
Okay, cough. All right, Mike, you're up. Paper Tigers.
I have low expectations for this movie. That was my first thought when I pulled it up. Add to it that I was on painkillers at the time. My expectations dropped even lower. And as I look at my rating, please God, remember, I was on painkillers. This movie was turning. They dropped the N-bomb, and 40 minutes in, and I'm wondering who actually thought this would be a good idea to watch. Who put this on the list? And did I see that? Wait a second. He went to fight. Did he just turn his hair? Before what? Then somebody says, "I could feel the color of the grass." What kind of painkillers you on? Because I want those. I'm starting to feel like this was a movie that I would have watched. We've talked about USA used to have Up All Night. Does anybody remember on Saturdays or Sundays, I forget which one, they used to have USA's Kung Fu Theater? Right?
I think I do, yeah.
In the afternoon? Usually like around 1 o'clock is when the movie would start. I feel like this would have been on that. Chosen. They brought Chosen in as a waiter? Seriously? Wait a minute. Did Chosen play a waiter when he came back in Cobra Kai? Yeah, I think he did. And now the bald dude knows all of this Chinese medicine. He's like doing a Miyagi thing. I think I saw this on TikTok as a video. But he can't fix his knee? If they took Kung Pao out of the mix, that being the white guy if they took him out of the mix, I might have liked this movie better. The fight scenes were actually, if you just watch the fight scenes with the sound off and don't pay attention to the plot, just watch the fight scenes, the movie is actually tolerable. So this is getting a very generous painkiller-induced smirk. In other words, it's not very often that I tell people, do not watch this movie sober. But I feel that should be a caveat on this particular movie.
Okay. All right.
Maybe marijuana. This might be a good movie to watch when you're stoned.
If you're on the pot.
If you're on the pot, yeah. All right. My turn. So, Paper Tigers. All right. So, this movie is... First 15 minutes of this movie, 20 minutes maybe, is all flashback. All right? It's fast-forward flashback. Different points in these kids' lives. I'm watching this with my wife, and she turns to me and she goes, "What is this movie? Who picked this? What is this about? I can't keep up with this." I'm like, "I know. Don't worry about it. Just go back to sleep." It's too much to try to explain. This is just all flashback. Okay. And then, okay, Master's dead. Show up to the... Now I thought when they showed up to the funeral and they didn't want the other guy being there, I thought for sure it was going to be like the funeral scene from Up Without a Paddle, where the third guy like pulls up, honks a horn, yells, "Is this Master Fu's funeral?" You know, is like drunk and disorderly or something. I thought that was going to be it. But no, we got a beef about somebody leaving from a Japan competition that we never did find out why he left, why he didn't actually compete. We never did find that out, so we're left with that question. Yes, I agree. The Matthew Page as Carter, adult Carter, in there playing as the best line in the movie, a fortune cookie made with white flour. All right, that was one of the funniest lines in the whole movie. All right, the next funny point where I laughed was where the Brazilian jiu-jitsu expert doesn't remember his gung fu skills that, according to the flashback, he had practiced for like 15 years. How much did he drink to forget all that time? Because that's a lot to just forget. I mean, we know that like 20 years, 25 years passed, but that means he did a lot of work to forget a lot of years really quickly. Because to me, you just don't forget that kind of stuff that easily. Some of it's got to come back to you, especially when you're getting your butt kicked. I did like that he got his butt handed to him several times. But I will say, I missed several things in this movie that they should have had. All right. One, they attempted to have, but I believe the budget called for only enough money for a tennis ball, a piece of string, and a piece of elastic. We needed a training montage. All right. And what we got was the equivalent of a guy with one of those paddles with the rubber ball trying to hit it himself. But in this case, it was on a string and he was trying to punch it. All right. We needed a training montage. I mean, like the World Police said, we need a montage. All right. Also, we needed more fights. We didn't have enough fighting in this Chinese fighting movie. All right. I want to see him go up against more fights and either get their butts handed to him more often or slowly get their skills back. I think they spent all their money on special effects and filming just in the slow motion, stuff in the last fight scene that honestly was lackluster. So now, does this mean that I hated this movie entirely? No. I did like the fact that they made the Gung Fu Master just a chef at a restaurant, kind of like the guy from the movie Sidekicks with Chuck Norris in it. That was kind of cool that he wasn't, just like Mr. Miyagi, right? He was the janitor. Who thinks a janitor can teach somebody something? But in general, this movie was slow. It was a bit boring, and I did just kind of want to get it over. So in general, I'm going to give this one a meh. I wasn't on painkillers like Mike, so I can't give it any higher than that. It just gets a straight meh from me. All right, so I guess we need to pick movies for the next show.
Okay, the next show will be 11:15, barring any reschedules.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to go. We are up to, 49.
18.
18. Let's see. Is this a pseudo? Oh, God. Freddie Highmore? It's on Netflix. It's called The Vault. A genius engineer and his crew of amateur thieves plot a scheme to seize a legendary lost treasure hidden in a fortress beneath the Bank of Spain. Okay, hold on a second. If I'm not listening to his voice, but it's going to be very difficult to hear him not. I am Dr. Sean Murphy. Okay.
All right.
Next.
4.
4.
Yep, 4.
Oh, I got a feeling. What is this crap? Go-karts on Netflix. A fearless teen leans into the rush of high-speed go-kart racing, backed by good friends and a surly ex-driver who becomes his coach. This is Australian.
So it's the go-kart equivalent of Cool Runnings, is what we're saying.
It's the go-kart equivalent of BMX Bandits. Come on, Goose. We've got these walkie-talkies out here. We're going to walk this BMX.
Great. I love it. Oh, all right.
Fantastic. Yeah. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves.
So,
we'll build this up. This is my vehicle. Oh, God.
Oh, man. Okay, so that is the end of the show.
Oh my God! Wait!
What?
Wait. I gotta throw this out. Breaking news. Apparently, Carol Baskin has filed a lawsuit against Netflix.
Carol
saying
Baskin.
that they breached a contract by continuing to use footage in Tiger King 2. Oh, God.
I seriously think that they have better lawyers than Carol Baskin does. So
they probably do, and there's no stopping the Tiger King. This is
it is a phenomenon that will
supreme
live on for a long time. All right, folks, thank you for tuning in and listening to us. We are going to get back on our every 2-week schedule, but thank you for dealing with us during our break in October. It was great to have a little bit of a vacation, and we all need time every once in a while to recharge. So we hope that you all, though, are still enjoying the show, downloading the podcast, checking us out at ptrradio.com, and looking forward to having many more episodes to come. And we want you guys to do your part of this agreement and tell all your friends about it. Tell all your coworkers about it. Say, hey, listen, this incredible show is very funny by these extremely sexy guys. And they go online every 2 weeks, and we just, it's incredible. You got to tune in. We don't know why they're not on Sirius XM, but, they're amazing, and we think that they deserve a lot of followers. And so that's what we need you guys to do. Basically, lie. Lie about us and get your friends to listen in at least for one episode. All right? So we would really appreciate that. Let everybody know about the show if you do like it. You can, as always, you can get in touch with the show at ptrradio.com or all of our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, yada, 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 PTR Radio on all your favorite social media channels. So, with that said, really, I don't think we have anything else to say other than I'm Shaggy. Colin, I didn't hear you. Did you mute yourself, or did you just not come close enough, or what?
Yeah, I was muted. Sorry. I'm still Colin.
All right.
I'm Mike the 8 Man.
Stick a fork in this, folks. We are done. Later.